without further ado, I would like to invite the moderator of the panel discussion. He is already on stage, distinguished Toastmaster Samir Hamid Dodi. He is entrepreneur by profession. He is the first Pakistan Territorial Council chair. He is one of my mentor, and he has asked me once, repeat your speech. And also other feedbacks he has given me which helped me to grow. And he is one of the person who has been mentoring me other than many other mentors in my life. So please put your hands together for our distinguished Toastmaster Samir Hamid Dodi.
I would request the panelists, sorry, this is not working, thank you. I would request the panelists to please come to the stage, thank you.
Can I have this one?
Thank you.
The topic today of the panel discussion is how psychology can impact our results. And I'm very happy that we have three distinguished panelists with us, each an expert in the field. I'll introduce them to the audience. The first panelist here is Dr. Iram Sabah. She is the only female conferred with Women Park, and she is a member of the Sharia board, which is an extremely important position. She has 17 years of experience and is an award-winning professional in the field of Islamic finance. Then we have Ms. Sayyida Nazia. She is a certified executive coach with 2 decades of experience. She coaches people towards transformative outcomes. And then we have, finally, Ms. Sana Kadri. She is a finance and transformative professional. She is an entrepreneur who has founded EdWatch, which has a focus on the critical skills development needs of the present and future workforce. So as I said, all of them have a great deal of experience, and it's quite an honor to have them on this topic of how psychology can impact our results. The first question, perhaps I can start with Dr. Iram, is that can you tell me a little bit more about the intrinsic and extrinsic motivators for people in their personal life and in the workforce?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much, ICAP Toastmaster. I'm very happy and delighted to be here. The question asked by DTM Samir regarding the intrinsic and extrinsic factors, specifically for the growth, basically, the motivators, when you talk about the success. Some people are blessed, so they have this intrinsic feature in themselves that I want to excel. I want to prove to the world, not to the world specifically, but to prove myself that I can perform better. For example, as far as I know, our DTM Zed, I saw him talking, so he have this intrinsic desire to excel in the world. But there are sometimes people who want to do something, but they lack internal motivators. Now, what we need to do for them is, then comes the role of the family, then comes the role of the academic institution, then comes the role of the, for example, office setup, who try to give them some incentives. So we have to use a balance between intrinsic and extrinsic factors in order to motivate people to come forward. For example, you have noticed when you talk about the Toastmaster, because I want to give the example of Toastmaster, why people join over here on this Sunday evening when you can rest at your home, when you work 5 days a week, but you are still present over here. Now this shows that you are here from the core of your heart. Why? Because you want to excel, you want to speak properly, you want to meet new people. So this is coming from inside. But if we make that, if you are DTM, then we will give you X, Y, Z incentive. Then maybe we will have more people sitting in the audience. So what I want to suggest is, some people have this blessing. They want to excel coming from their mind and heart, but on the other hand, if we see some people who can perform better, then this is the role of the society to support them, to guide them, to give them incentives. So not necessarily everybody having both these factors, but if you can find somebody having, one side, for example, intrinsically they are very strong, it's good for them. Right? But those who are not, then they need good support from the environment, from the society and family. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did, absolutely. And I would like to take this forward with Ms. Sayyeda Nazia, because, this was very interesting, but I think this also leads to the fixed and growth mindsets. How about that? How does that enter in the psychology and the results that you get?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for having me, and wish you all a pleasant evening as well. The growth mindset and how psychology impacts your career or any relationship, any aspect of your life. For those who understand that, what exactly is the purpose of having some knowledge of how psychology has any influence in how people perceive you, how you perceive yourself, first of all, and what makes you you. The sense of self and awareness, where you want to be. Like ma'am mentioned that, there are driving factors which bring you here on a Sunday and you're not spending time with your family. But if some people are not self-driven and not self-aware where they want to be and how to influence others by whatever they have acquired over a period of time in terms of knowledge, language, and through travel and through their cultural upbringing, demographics, geographics, whatever. So awareness is the key to developing anything psychological which impacts and affects the results in short term and long term. Like the audience that we have here today primarily comprises of men. So you have to understand the dynamics are different for every workplace and every relationship. And having somewhat awareness of who you are enables you to psychologically identify how people are perceiving you, why he's behaving a certain way, and how to tackle that situation and circumstances that help you grow. If you are willing, only then it implies and applies to your career as well. I hope that suffices.
I believe, yes, that's a very good, explanation. And Ms. Sana Kadri, these are all about, the growth mindsets, but how do you stretch yourself past your limits every day? What are the strategies you have to use for that?
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and thank you for the question. That's a very, very important question. I personally believe that we don't need to stretch ourselves every day. So, and why I'm saying that is because every person's, there comes a time in every person's life when, we are bewildered. We don't know what is going on and what should we do. And when such a time came into my life, I, also was confused. And and at that time I read a book which says, stillness is the key. That's a book by Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Holiday. Ryan Reynolds is an actor. So, but yeah, that's when I read about everyone's struggle, every successful person's struggle, not just men, women as well. And what it actually told me is that you don't need to push yourself every day. You need to just give yourself a break. Reflect on yourself, reflect on your life, and understand what are you chasing? What exactly are you looking for? Is this what you want? And sometimes when we don't give ourselves a break, then God creates such circumstances, then you ultimately have to get a break for yourself. Stop and reflect on your life. So, and that's why we always have 2 days break in a week, because you cannot constantly wake up every day and be productive. You need to have a break, think over it, and then be 100% productive. And that is something that we have to accept is natural, is fruitful, is good for our psychology, our personality.
Thank you. And I would also like to ask Dr. Eram something. The point is that you have 17 years of experience. You got your PhD in finance, in Islamic finance. You're sitting on the Sharia board, and I think all of this is very, very male-dominated, quite frankly. So obviously you had some kind of sense of purpose when you started off in this field and on this path. So how important is it to act with a sense of purpose in a career?
It's very important. You see, from the very beginning, I was well aware that I have to work in industry. And when I used to see the bankers going to their offices, suited, booted, I feel like I have to go over there as well one day. So, born and brought up in a small city called Bahawalpur. How many of you have heard about Bahawalpur? Wow, I'm glad. Majority of you. Otherwise, when you ask this question in Karachi, not everybody is aware. So coming back to the point, we are 9 sisters. And it is very important to tell you the story with purpose. Being youngest in family, I have seen my sisters, they are very happy in their homes, but still there is, in our society, the females have to be on the lower side. They have to go to men for discussion and everything. So one thing was sure, that I want to be so independent. And this is, I'm talking about when I was only 12 years old. Imagine 12 years old and having this purpose in mind, that I want to be a person who can contribute to the home, to society, and for the country as well. So since the very beginning, it was very clear. But what helped me to reach over here? This is very important for all of you, because right now, some of you are single, some are married. You need to provide the conducive environment to your children. I remember, if I am sitting over here, one of the very important personality in my life is my mother. So she was always there. Being 9 sisters and my father, he allowed us to experiment. You join commerce, then you go for your master's, and then go for your PhD, and this is how you move. So you have a purpose from the very beginning. It's all about the environment that you provide to your children. And if you have that, then sky is the limit. So my mom, she always guided me that the TV, at that time we used to have television and Pentium 1, and the wire from the phone that we have to use. So my mom told me that, Iram, if you study hard, if you work hard, everything will come behind you. And I am so thankful that I listened to her advice. And if you study hard, if you have your objective in mind, that I used to dream to go in a bank. But I ended up in a far better position. So objective, purpose is very important.
I must say that you're fortunate that you had such a supportive family. That was, honestly, that is very important, because you had the right motivation and your parents supported you. Sorry, Ms. Sayyida Nazia, you are a certified coach. Now, in your opinion, is it important to seek people who have your positive attitude, who have an attitude that will push you forward? How important is that?
To have a positive attitude?
And also to have people around you who share that attitude.
Well, that would not always be a probable situation. Having people like-minded and having the positivity to move forward and flourish. Some people enjoy the stagnancy, and some people enjoy the toxicity. This is some terms that we are listening to very frequently in current situations, especially post-COVID, that a lot of negativity has, inducted or seeped within us. And we're talking about wellness and mental illnesses and, reasons which are impacting or influencing our negative mindset and becoming a vicious cycle or a pattern. So having people of positive outlook towards life, or like seeking self-growth and development, it's becoming really less and less every day. Not rare, but it's not there to the point that we expect it. So how can we change that? We can't. What we can do, the only thing that I can change in the whole universe is me. The way I see things, my self-concept and my mindset and my energy, my vibration. So if I am talking to so many people sitting across the room from me and I am bringing some sort of positivity, I am sure it will connect and resonate. But some people who are not feeling that positivity today will say, oh, she has everything going for her, that is why. Oh, she doesn't know my struggles. She doesn't know the day I've had. I've had a bad day today. But that is not who you are. So living in your own awareness and in a positive mindset and a great self-concept enables you to impact everyone else around you. So I hope that helps, because that is what I do. And maybe people feel that, and the energy transforms and translates.
Now, as Ms. Nazia said, that sometimes you meet toxic people, and sometimes you get rejection, and sometimes you get rejected very hard. So, in your opinion, what is the best way to handle rejection?
So basically, one should understand that as much as we have our likes and dislikes, we may like somebody, we may not like somebody, we like some things, we don't like some things. We might not fit into the criteria of a likable person or a person who fits, say if we go for a job interview, we might not fit into that criteria of the job profile, person's profile they're looking for. The only thing that we can do is positively accept our rejection, positively accept that we don't fit into that criteria. Let me tell you an example. We've all heard about Jack Ma's story on and on. I hope I have said the right name this time. So Jack Ma, and the very famous story that he was interviewed for KFC, and there were only 11 people interviewed, and he was the only guy rejected. But yet, he became the CEO of, the biggest company in China that actually shaped the way the country is right now. It forms a huge portion of the country's GDP. So, how he embraced it, it did not stop him from working hard. It did not stop him from trying even harder. And as she mentioned that once you, once you start being positive, your positivity resonates with the positive people around you. And you ultimately connect with the people that might come and, have a positive impact in your life, and that's how you have to accept a rejection. Maybe that's not for you, that was not meant for you.
Thank you. I think that we have just a few more minutes because we are a bit short of time, and I would very much like if any audience member would like to ask a question from one of our esteemed panelists. And if so, please indicate the panelist, and then, we can, I'm sure that our panelist will give an answer. So is there anybody? Sorry? No, sorry, yes, please. No.
Moise, I think Moise wants to ask a question. Yes, Moise.
My question from the panelist is like in our like most of the motivational speakers used to say that be motivated, be ready. But is it possible if in practical life that we are facing some difficult times and we can keep our psychology in check, and we can keep on track? Because it's good, it's something good in motivational speeches, but it is possible to maintain such a psychology so that we can focus on our results, and if we are facing some difficult times in our life.
Okay. Thank you so much, Moise, for this question. Why? Because when Sana was talking, I wanted to add something. You see, you cannot be happy all the time. You cannot. It's a human nature or psychology. I mean, if somebody is, having a difficult situation, how I can motivate you? Hey, please smile, bro, it is okay. I can't do that. And I know it is difficult for you. So when you are having a problem, please remember that you need to understand and tell yourself that, yes, this is a problem. And I am going through this problem right now. So first you need to make sure that you are aware that there is a problem. But now, again, coming back to the growth mindset, you know that there is a problem. But now what to do next? You can sit in the room, you can cry for hours and hours, and you can blame yourself, oh my God, why only me, as we have in Pakistan? Oh, everything is happening to me, you see so-and-so is very happy, but why only me, and you curse yourself. No, don't do that. So when we talk about how to keep yourself positive, it's just the thing that you understand you are suffering from a problem, number one. Number two, then you go to the solution. Rather than to go into depression and feeling like, Ya Allah, all the friends are having this successful life, eating in, international places, but here I am suffering. So your time gonna come. Okay, your time gonna come. So you need to be with the positive people who guide you. Okay, you can go this way. You try to take this thing, and then you move forward. So this is very important. You cannot be happy, I repeat all the time. There are ups and downs, and from religion perspective, it is written in Quran. Sometimes you are high, sometimes you are down. So this is part of life.
Sayyid?
Muiz, how many people in this room are going through some difficulty in their lives or going through a difficult time today? First, we are sent in this world as a test, and the heart rate is supposed to go like this, otherwise it's a flat line and you're dead. That's the end of it. Second, you're Ashraful Makhlukat, the best of all creation, and you have the Amar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within you. So that means you have godliness within. So if you are feeling externally the reality that is around me, it's an illusion and it will pass, we are looking forward to the hereafter. ठीक है? दूसरी चीज ये कि when we look within, and if you find the connection, like meditation or talking to yourself, creating a new self-dialogue, a good inner talk. Toxicity, matlab jo word hai na, we apply it the most, the hatred, the negativity inside ourselves. मेरे से नहीं होता, मैं failure हूँ, मैं. So how do you expect positive people to come across you, and how do you expect your circumstances to change? We talk about attraction, not chasing things, attracting things. You become magnetic and you attract. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, send positive people in my life, send so-and-so job in my life, you're manifesting because you have the power. The minute you realize that you are not some random being having an experience in this world, and you realize who you truly are, everything else will change and fall into place. It's like magic. Yeah.
I think both of them have, spoke on it in detail, but I just like to mention one thing that, as she said, about attraction. So we don't realize, obviously, most of us, as being born in a country like Pakistan, which is an Islamic country, we know from the childhood that mayusi kufr hai. But from what I've read, throughout for the past few years, and what I've seen is that power of attraction is something that West is talking about the most. What you attract, what you think about, you attract the most. So negativity, as I mentioned, you need to have a break in your life. You need to reflect. वो कहते हैं ना, movies में भी बनाते हैं तो कभी खुशी कभी गम. There is never smooth thing going on. अब अगर किसी movie में भी if it's all good and you wouldn't watch it, you wouldn't like it. So and I, as a matter of fact, I'm a trainer and I teach. I train a specific part that's called financial storytelling. So what we tell them in that whole training is that when movies are made, they have this human emotions in mind. They play with your emotions. They make you happy. They always keep you at the edge of your emotions. And this is how life is. You wouldn't expect everything going smooth. So be positive. Obviously, you might have a time in your life when you are down. That's not bad. I mean, feeling down, feeling stressed is not bad, but don't go into that level when you have a depression. And when you feel like, symptoms of depression, you need to talk to somebody. And, obviously, that's why people like her are coaches and, people who help with the mental health. So, that's very normal, that's very natural. Everybody faces difficulties, everybody has ups and downs. It's just you have to reflect on yourself and you have to push yourself. It's you whose life is affected, it's you who have to push himself. Nobody else can help you with that. That's it.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And I mean, brilliant answers. I hope that answers, the query that you had. Sadly, the timer, the controller has put on the red light, which means our time is over. But I would really appreciate all three panelists because you answered very interesting questions on the fixed and growth mindset, intrinsic and extrinsic motivators, on handling rejection, on having a positive attitude. And I think we have covered a great deal of ground in a very short session. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
It was really a brilliant session, and all because of you. I really appreciate that. And now I'll request DTM Zed, Mohsen, or perhaps Mariam, to please come here and take over.
But thank you so much. But the panelists and DDM Sameer are requested to stay on stage. It was indeed a great talk, and I learned a lot about how the human mind works and how we are responsible for what we attract and how positivity is very important, and we are supposed to direct our lives in the right direction to get the right results. With that said, I'd like to invite the Club Road Director, DTM Zaid Kalia, to give goodie bags to the panelists as a token of thanks to the panelists and DTM Sameer. A big round of applause for all of them. Panelist Sana Kadri, and the next one, Sayyida Naz, Sayyida Nazia, and Eram Sabah. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion with your presence. And last but not the least, DTM Sameer Hamid Dhodi. Thank you for moderating the panel discussion, and I hope that all of our queries have been answered and covered in the questions that DTM Sameer asked. I would like to